You mentioned that you go and collect some botanicals. What is your method for collection? What do you look for? And once you've collected, what do you do to prime what you've collected, for lack of a better term?
Well, up here in Canada, we don't have a lot of choices. In Saskatchewan, oak is my go-to. We do have maple. I've used some maple twigs, but usually don't use too many maple leaves. I find the oaks just last a little longer and they're plentiful enough. Acorn caps is another one that I would introduce on occasion. And
Mm,
usually
yep.
I try and default to oak twigs and branches when I can find them. I keep trying to remind myself before it starts to snow, it should be snowing pretty soon, that I need to go collect some more oak leaves to renew my collection in the garage. But
Mhm.
um, so those are my default is usually just oak. And because it doesn't look very tropical, I'll often just break it up and it'll become, part of the benthic layer and part of the substrate, like mixed in with sand and stuff like that when I use oak. But it's really gorgeous. Like I have just thrown it in some tanks just to enjoy the look of it. Like there's a lot of people that would do it and embrace it, even though it's not tropical looking, but
Oak leaves
it's
seem to deteriorate
yeah.
in a really beautiful way because of the shape of the leaves, and it's like they go through like a three stage, like they almost change color, and then
Yeah.
they crack up, and then they break down to the skeletal stage.
Yeah, and then you get the Madagascar lace look of the leaves as well, which I was trying to dig up some old pictures and I had some nice ones where there was fish behind the leaves and in
Mm-hmm.
front, and it was really gorgeous. But as for prep, I'm pretty hardcore. I think I follow kind of Tannen's instructions or Ben from Better Botanicals. I think I boil my stuff a little longer, but basically I'll rinse everything. First off, when you're collecting, collect from an area that you know is safe to collect from,
Yeah.
like far from roadways or far from anywhere that would be sprayed with anything. Most of the places I collect from are like clearly safe in all ways. Like I know like whether there's been anything sprayed and stuff like that. So I'm pretty particular about the places I would collect or use stuff from. And then after I've collected safely, then I would rinse everything, and then I usually give it at least an hour boil. Um, some people will do 5 minutes. I'm a little more hardcore, but also you want to do a longer boil. Like I just throw everything into one pot. I have a pretty big
Mhm.
cauldron, about 15 inches by 15 inches. It was pickling season up here, and there were some pots on sale, so I upsized my used to be big pot to an even bigger one that can eat the other one. So I usually just toss everything together. So it'll be leaves, seed pods, twigs, and everything. So with like twigs and seed pods, if you want them to sink, you'll have to do a longer boil. So usually I do that, and then I just let it naturally cool. So that also, and then after that, sometimes I'll leave it overnight. I would drain the water, add new water, and drain it again. I've never been one for using the stew juice, because basically you would be adding what you're trying to clean off the leaves to your tank, whereas there's plenty of tannins in the in the botanicals. I've never had a shortage.
Mhm.
But yeah, like if you're running out of tannins in your tank, just add more leaves. Like that's kind of my gauge. But also like you're supposed to have ebb and flows. Like in the wild,
Mm.
um, you want some clean water coming in. So like a lot of the time I'll do water changes with just the straight RODI water, like not um, with the pre-tint added, but I kind of have both at the ready. So usually it's just when I'm being lazy because my tinted water is in a 5 gallon bucket and my regular RODI water is in a jug. So the jug is easier to pick up and pour in. So but that can also help to instigate breeding and stuff like that, as well as just doing clear water change. You can have some ebb and flow in the depth of your color as well. Like I don't think you need to shoot for having it this brown all the time. And yeah, it's interesting to see your fish in all the different iterations as well.
Mm.